Okay, doing a quick book review video today. This is the book, Path of Individual Liberation by Chogyam Trungpa. I have quite a few of his books. I don't know if I'm saying the name right. So real quick, the book was okay. I like the book, but the copy I got was pretty bad in the sense I got a brand new copy, and then I'm not sure, all the back pages just fell out one day, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, at least it was about the author and stuff, and not as important. But buying a brand new book for about $30, you expect a little bit a better quality. And that's the thing I've experienced a lot, which is more of an Amazon issue than the individual seller. Well, no, I just find a lot of places just sell brand new books for damaged, so I buy used when I can. But the problem is a lot of the used books are just not that much cheaper. Anyways, so that's definitely a big bummer. But it also, I guess, isn't just Amazon. I see it a lot in Barnes Noble, a lot of other retailers. So I'm just gonna start trying to buy more used books. It's just frustrating because I like new stuff to an extent. I don't know. It's weird. I don't mind used books. Actually, I love buying used stuff. It just depends on the type of book. Like certain books I want used, certain books I like to kind of collect. And I like to kind of flex them. This book, again, like this book, I think it was like $10 cheaper for used, but like $6 shipping, and then it would be there longer. So I'm like, oh, I'll just lose the $4 and get a brand new book. That's worth the difference. Where sometimes it's like the used is like $5. That's what this book's about. It's just frustrating. Okay, here's the actual book. So this is part one of a 3-book series. I believe I have the rest on my shelf over here. If my shelf will permit me to bring them out. So this is number yeah, 2 right here is a purple one, which I'm going to be reading next. And then number 3, which I got in hardcover, which I'm very, very, very excited about, is The Profound Treasury of the Ocean of Dharma. This is huge. Um, so I'm very excited about that. Okay, now first things first. This book and then the author. So again, maybe doing the name wrong. I have no idea. Apologize deeply. So Chogyam Trungpa has multiple books. I have a lot more. I'm not gonna go pull out every book. So it's gonna take a while and just awkward. I have read one of the small ones. I've really enjoyed it. He has a very no nonsense approach to Buddhism where he says things that a lot of other practitioners almost wouldn't say, and it doesn't ever come off as cruel or disingenuous. He just talks about things bluntly, and so like he uses a lot of times. We'll talk about which isn't super uncommon in Buddhist scholars, teachers. We'll talk about neurosis, and I'll talk about confusion, a lot of other stuff, and that is really a good way of putting a lot of issues people have. He's not calling the people bad or weak. He's calling it neurosis, which in their talking is does mean you're crazy, but it doesn't. It means you're temporarily crazy. It's not that you're crazy. It's just how the world works and how our brain reacts to stuff. And so this book, like a lot of Buddhism, is about kind of cutting a path through that. This kind of talks about the first thing, which is the shamatha and then the vipassana. I can never pronounce them. Again, those are probably butchers because you remember I only read this in my mind. I don't read it out loud. I don't ever talk to him about this besides these videos. But anyways, though, he does talk about two main kind of schools of and things of practicing that are kind of on that stepping stool. He does a really good job of breaking down kind of layers, breaking down what to expect on that path. Because in the entire 3-book series of the Ocean of Dharma, he kind of, and again, I don't know for sure all this, I haven't finished it, but I do know in general is about overall path of wisdom. And so the first one is just the individual path of liberation because I just believe that that is the most important in the sense of if you can't save yourself, you can't save others. And so it's not seen as selfish, it's seen as essential. It's the classic analogy a lot of people will use, even therapists for different stuff. But like, if a plane's going down and you have a little kid, you need to put on your thing first, the whatever you call the little mask thing, and then your kids. If you put on your kids first, you're gonna pass out and die. Then the kid's gonna die, the little baby, right? You need to put on yours first. So there's a lot of better analogies where you know what I mean. Or for example, if this is not just came up with. But let's say you're on a big boat and you really there's a lot of struggles on this boat and the crew's depressed and you want to do stuff better for them, but you're all miserable on the crew. That's kind of a bad analogy. And then you end up either like giving up or neglecting duties or dying or maybe making a mishap and the whole boat sinks, right? Or something like that. People need to understand the direct tie between themselves and others. And that'll be the other big takeaway of the video. And one of the things I've already known it, but this book really talked about it in a very eloquent way is I always used to think that the best way to live my life was to, and I've always known this to be the truth. It's so hard for me to accept. And I still don't even really accept it. I still am working on it. But I always believed the best way to live my life was be as hard as I can on myself, have the highest standards, and be extremely kind to other people. And I think I got part of the equation right. But I think what I didn't realize is when I'm mean to myself, I am being a bad person. And I'm not being a bad person in the sense of like, oh, you're not being the best. Like I mean it in the sense that Western people think about it and talk about it. Jesus Christ! Oh my God! I mean it in the sense of someone who's mean and bullies and disparages others is considered a bad person. I don't necessarily believe in objectively good or bad people. I don't really like those terms. It's very divisive, but that's what I am. That's what I have, and that's what I am because of what I do, because of how I treat myself. And again, people mention that, and I was like, "Oh, you want you to be that way?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't," but it's not the same. And you kind of move about your day. Um, oh my God, sorry. Anyways, so what am I trying to say? Well, one of the things the book talks about, and I think it's important for everyone else to know, saying about the analogies of saying about yourself for others, and the whole thing of this book being individual liberation, is that crucial first step. You can't go into Buddhism trying to be a bodhisattva for all these other things. You have to work on yourself first, or you're just going to pretty on people and make it worse for yourself. And I like you takeaway, and again, sorry, these videos kind of suck. I don't do scripts. I just don't believe in it. I just like to talk from my heart. The other big thing I think is important with analogy is kind of reminding everyone else, if you are actively being mean and hard to yourself, you are being bad. Not that you maybe deserve bad things, but you are being kind of a piece of crap. And the reason I'm saying that is because I used to think that like, yeah, okay, you want to treat someone else that way, whatever. It's just separate. I'm separate and different. I'm super special, but not like in a good way, in the worst possible way. Like I used to, and I still say sometimes when I tweak out, I think I'm worse than like murderers and all these people. I think I'm just the worst person in the world. I truly believe it in my heart, in my soul. Like it's not like I feel that way in the moment. Like I feel I am so awful, and so because of that, I feel like I can just be as mean to myself as I want, as long as I'm being good to the people, and it doesn't matter because it's just to me. It's just to who, right? Who cares? I don't. Hell, I don't. And I had a kind of conclusion. This book really kind of helped talk about that a little bit. Not a major point. Just one of the things I took away is that when you are being mean to yourself, you are being mean to a human being. Not like it's similar to like when you are talking down to yourself mentally or like out loud, whatever you're doing, it, you are being abusive to yourself. And I have been in a long journey of trying to be the best person I can. I have made a lot of mistakes in my past. Some like worse than others. I've tried to reach out to everyone in a tone like, "Oh, sorry this happened, sorry this breakup happened," and truly heartfelt, like wish him well. Well, in that journey and that goal, I can't successfully at least be trying to go and be a great new person or whatever. Not that I'm reborn again, but I can't be doing all that and then just be super mean to myself because it's like even think of sorry, I'm like picking at my toe right now. No one watches it. I don't really care. I got some skin off there. Oh wow, that's pink. It's really pink. Okay, maybe put a band-aid on that. I hate when my skin peels. Anyways, okay, now it's kind of fun looking at it. Okay, no playing with it. So, um, Jesus Christ, you can't do good things by being mean to yourself. People always say that, you can't grow flowers with thunder. There's a million different analogies, but really, a kid, a child, or even a human being, think of yourself. I just started my job I'm at a little over a year ago. I'm still there. When I started, I think I was 20. 20? I think I was 20 or 19. I think I was 20. And when I started, I had my people teaching me the ropes. I can't imagine having someone be like, "Fucking suck. Do better, you little maggot. You little worthless sack of shit. Don't you ever make that mistake again." Because obviously I make the mistake. I maybe wouldn't make it again, but that's just not necessary, right? That wouldn't even help my growth. And that's the kind of conclusion of is if I actually care about utilitarianism, pragmatic, best case scenarios for myself and others, I have to let that kind of stuff go because another big thing I do too is I don't forgive myself. I have stuff in the past. I think I deserve death because of it. I hold on to it so tightly in my chest. And again, all those analogies apply. I'm not going to go infinite. I'll do a better video on that later. At the point of this video. But how would that work? How would that help? And so this book does a great job of talking about that. I'm sorry about that whole intercession. We get back on track now. So it does talk about solo path. It does talk about not saying that because you're going to stop there. It does mention you kind of can stop there as long as you're stopping creating more cycles of pain. But the idea is this is a stepping stone. It is again not like it's lame, it's lesser. It is an important stone to the top. But you cannot help others. You cannot be part of a community properly until you are kind of working on yourself. It talks about the importance of the jewels, the dharma, the sangha, and then it does talk about the shamatha Again, I'm probably butchering that. And then the Vispana, again, the V1, I can't, which is basically two main types of meditation. One is more of an insight meditation where you're focusing on stuff. The other one is more of a body passive and like a calming one. They have different uses. It talks in depth about how to do them, how to go about them, how you should expect your experiences and your growth to go, how you should expect to have some major experiences and kind of fall back down. How it does great of overlining it. There's a little bit of redundancy, not a lot. It outlines it great. Has like 70 chapters. Most of them are pretty short. Some like 20 pages. Some like 5 or less. Very succinct. I like the way he speaks. Again, he does tell it pretty straight up. He isn't cruel, like over the top, like in your face, raunchy or sassy. He does a good job of talking about it for the price point. I think it's good. I have not finished the series yet. I did though really enjoy some of the words he talks about and the way he describes things. It does go about again like just the different stuff like discipline, and it does start also with basic stuff. So if you know nothing about Buddhism, I wouldn't necessarily start with this book. Like again, like if I had to put on a tier list of Buddhism, like what knowledge you have to have going in, I would say like five being like you were a Buddhist master, right? I would say you probably want to be at like a one or two going into this. And I guess zero being like you just know nothing. You maybe know the word. One is you know some like core concepts, you've heard of it, and then two is you know some like entry level stuff, some ideas, mindfulness practices, maybe a little bit about Buddha stuff like that. I would, because you don't want to be going in this blind, but it also is a pretty good beginner esque book. Like you read a couple more basic books, because this is probably like my 10, 15 book I read of Buddhism. Again, I'm not some super deep master. I put myself at like maybe a three. And also that's knowledge level. There's also like practicing, which is kind of different. But I would recommend it. I would give this. I'm trying to give an actual score. I would probably give it. I'm just trying to think of. It's harder to rate these versus fictional books, especially when was doing my Holy Book series. It's like it's really hard to rate it because like it's like I would do. I'll give it as a flat eight. Again, I give a lot of eights, but eight is not bad. Eight is good. Eight is it does what it's supposed to do. Eight is like for me like a five is just unequivocally boring and average. A five isn't necessarily even bad. Six is decent. I kind of liked it. Seven is pretty good. Eight is awesome. Nine is amazing. And like 10 is like, duh. So I think an eight is a good score. Obviously, there's some physical damage. That's not the author's fault. And there was a couple things towards the end that I felt like were a little longer than they need to be. And some again, not perfection stuff. Wasn't like I was like sitting there full body goosebumps the whole time. But there were quite a few profound passages, a lot of good insights, a lot of good ways to think about things. And I do think the author's intention throughout the entire work of fiction, or not fiction, Jesus Christ, the entire work was to help you, was to better your life, and that is a very genuine, very awesome thing. I think if anyone has any questions, definitely reach out. I'll talk to more about the book. I would definitely recommend it. I do like how it was structured. I do like the amount of content. I do like what the content was. It also is part of a series, so who knows if it'll sit better. So I'm going to be working on the Bodhisattva Path, Wisdom of Compassion next, which instead of the last one, which is like 600, this one's only. Oh, that's a whole back thing. This is only for like 420 or 430 something, and then the last one I'm really excited. I love a big chunker. This is almost a little intimidating. This one's yeah, this one's 780 pages. Yeah. So and all those page counts, I was kind of skipping the appendixes. So this is a big boy. This one has some knowledge. And this is hardcover too. I'm very excited. But I think all in all, I'm excited for the series. He does have a lot of solo work too, or not solo. Like this is all solo work. But he has a lot of like one-off smaller books that you could easily get into sooner, easier, whatever your verbatim is. But anyways, I like the book a lot. Thanks for checking out. Anyone who watches these videos, even one person, I appreciate it. And if anyone ever has any requests for a book to let me do or any ideas, just let me know.